So pretty much my main gift is guitar. Like other than that, like I do play a little bit of bass, little keys, little drums, just music in general, but guitar is my main focus. And the way I found out about it was just at a family reunion when I was 10, and my cousin was playing a guitar, and I was like, that's cool. And he showed me a couple chords, and I just fell in love with it and pursued it from there, and God really opened some doors and gave me some good opportunities to own it, and it just worked out, So right now, for me, the biggest part of developing my gift has always been to play with as many people as I possibly can, getting out and just kind of getting in a group and, because like you said, it's kind of trial by fire at that point, once people are in the room and they're listening to you, and so it's got to be good. And so, I've just kept with that, and, I play in a band, and we play lots of shows, and the thing that's fun with those shows is they're not always at churches. Sometimes we'll be at a bar where half the people are drunk, and if they don't like it, they're going to tell you that. And so, you got to be sure that you're on your A game for those people, especially. And when you're showing them God's love through music, that's not exactly how they'd expect to hear it. That's a great way to just make sure that you're always on it. The thing with music is it's a universal language. Everybody speaks it. Everybody pulls something from it. And so, by being involved in music in any way, you have a very large platform to speak from, and it's great to be able to use that for the glory of God. I spent a lot of time thinking about that question because there's so much practical advice to give, but I think the biggest thing that I could recommend to anybody is, you're always going to hear people telling you to practice to a metronome. That's the big thing. But I would say take it one step further and record yourself practicing to a metronome. Because you can sit there and practice to a metronome and be like, yeah, I got this. But if you record it, the recording is going to be 100% honest, and it's going to tell you if you got it or not. So once I started recording myself when I was practicing and playing and writing and learning, when I would listen back, that was when I really started to improve as a player. And so if you can find any way to record yourself, whether it's just on your phone, some free software, anything, record what you're practicing and then listen back to it and take feedback from that. That's the most practical thing I can tell you. You're not a drummer, you're not a guitar player, you're a musician. It's all... if you look at a piece of sheet music, you can play that on piano, guitar, flute, tuba, whatever. It's all the same notes. It's the same 12 notes. We're all just musicians in it. It's how you apply it that's what changes. That's awesome. You kind of got to figure out what works best for you. In my case, like, I'm my own harshest critic, and for a lot of people that's not a good thing, because they'll sit there and be like, oh, well, this song is never going to see the light of day. I was rushing in that one measure, but if you take that into consideration and be like, okay, I'm my own worst critic. I know that needs to be fixed. You can fix it, and then you can move on from there until you're happy with it. So it's, if listening to it like you don't know who the player is, if that's how it works best in your brain, do that, because I'll even do that sometimes. Like, I'll write something, record it, and then I'll close onto my computer. I'll stay away from it for like 3 days, and then I'll come back to it and listen to it and see if it still resonates with me. I hope that at least kind of clarified. When I first started, I had just an Epiphone acoustic guitar. It was like $150, and I saved up all summer mowing lawns and pulling weeds to get it. But no, and I actually still have that guitar. It's just sitting in my room. But it's just like, just your regular run-of-the-mill acoustic guitar, because at that point, all you're learning is your chords and your scales and all that. So you don't need anything too crazy. You just need to make sound.
Play guitar.
Oh, nice.
There's different guitars to choose. It's like, I don't know which one. I'm like, oh my gosh, here we go.
The big thing too, though, and because I work at Guitar Center myself, and so the thing I always tell people when they're looking for their first guitar get something reasonable, but also get something that you think looks cool. Because if it's comfortable for you to play, and if you like the way it looks, like the way it sounds, you're going to be more eager to play that, and you're going to want to practice it more and play it more, and you're going to get better just because you enjoy doing it. So if you're wanting to learn both, I would personally start on guitar, just because the bass, it's essentially the lowest four strings of the guitar. They're the same notes, same everything there. So I mean, if you're just wanting to learn both, I would learn the guitar first, because it's going to be a little bit more complicated. You're dealing with full chords rather than single notes primarily, and then you can step over to bass, and the musical, like the theory concepts will be the same, but the application will be different.